just coming from a purely scientific background, some of these things may sound very off the wallish, if you will. And that everything is coming out of this consciousness, there are no objects. But then with your pointers, I'm just sort of laying it out, and I want to see if you think I'm thinking along the right lines. So this whole point that Rishi Munis actually had this as an experience. It's not just a book that's telling us so. It's not just a scientific theory. It's actually someone who had this experience, if you will, and they saw these things coming out, all these panchatattvas coming out of, whatever, the Chaitanya, if you will. But I just keep thinking, Swamiji, that, of course, I have no experience of that sort, but I do go to sleep every night. And I know the world disappears every night for me, but I am there. There's something that is always there. And then I wake up and the whole world comes dancing right in front of me, including this class and all the interactions. And I repeat this every day. And I still kind of doubt my own experience. Is it something that is Maya that's telling me, although I see it and I believe it, and I have the confidence that Rishi Munis, what they saw is true. But then this science part of me, which probably is part of this Maya, is again making me doubt, go to another class, read another book, even though it's all very clear in a way that defies all the books or the scientific explanations. It's my own experience every night. Why do I not believe that and hold on to it? What's stopping me?
Well, neither blame science nor take the support of science. Science is not stopping you from enlightenment. It is just our samskaras, and we need the proper preparation where this will lead to that moment of enlightenment. Notice, even after an enlightenment, nothing will contradict science. Science operates at the Vyavaharika level, and all the findings of science are perfectly valid. Advaita has no conflict. Yeah, Advaita has a conflict when you go from science to a materialistic reductionist worldview. That's a worldview. That's not something proven by science. What I'm saying, there's a big difference between a worldview and the actual discoveries of science. The actual discoveries of science, nobody should doubt. Advaita has no contradiction with the actual discoveries of science. But the worldview, which is a materialistic worldview, it says that this world of time, space, matter, energy is the only reality. This is the reality. And your consciousness and whatever you're talking about must be an afterthought, a subsequent byproduct of kind of organic matter, your brains and nervous systems. That's it. No. That is where the problem is. Don't start with science. When you're doing science, do science. But when you're trying to understand Advaita Vedanta, don't start with science. A very valuable instruction. See, these sadhus wandering around in the mountainsides of the Himalayas, such extraordinary insights. We look stupid compared to them. We modern people, I'll give you one insight. Think about it. Thunderous insight. This sadhu, he said, जड़ से शुरू करोगे तो जड़ ही मिलेगा महात्मा जी, चेतन से शुरू करोगे तो चेतन मिलेगा. If you start your inquiries from a material object, your ultimate analysis will land you up in a material reality. There's no other way. You will be forced to reduce somehow consciousness to material reality also. But if you start with consciousness, you will end up with consciousness as the ultimate reality. Start with awareness, start with mind, as start your inquiry there. Notice, when they're talking about the 5 elements, where are they starting? They are starting with our experience. We see, hear, smell, taste, touch. Then what could be behind it? So the Vaisheshika thinkers, they thought about 5 elements. But where are they starting? They're starting with your own experience. Notice, this scientific inquiry, every inquiry has to start with you as the conscious inquirer. Is it not true? Who else is inquiring? Now, it was, you see, we have to look at the scientific method itself. It was found very soon that you need not keep saying that to the inquirer, to the experimenter's consciousness, these results are appearing, because the experimenter's consciousness was common to all of it. So why keep on bringing the subject into it? Eliminate the subject, be objective. That's how science progresses. But in doing that, very soon it was forgotten that all this objective inquiry was being carried out by a subject. This was forgotten completely. And now when the inquiry is into the subject in consciousness studies, that whole objective approach is now becoming like a ghost on our head. You see, the sheer ridiculousness. I am studying consciousness studies. And the immediate next step is, so let me see how an octopus reacts to this kind of experiment. You have conscious, you are conscious. Are you unconscious? Why do you have to go to an octopus's consciousness? It's like saying, let me study life by first killing the animal and then we'll study life itself. No. Consciousness is the first fact. If you want to study consciousness, consciousness is available directly to you as conscious beings. Mind is available to you as mental beings. Anyway.
So just one related point, Swamiji, on this. So you mentioned my sanskaras and vasanas, and I understand that part also, is that there is something deep inside in those impressions that probably is hindering some of this understanding when we are awake. When we are in deep sleep, those things also go to sleep, and that's why we kind of experience this oneness. And then when the manyness comes in the morning, those sanskaras also come into the play. And I think there was a related question probably in that Rupert Spira discussion on the long path versus short path or whatever. So is this something we need to distance ourselves during the waking hours from the samskaras and say that belongs to the jiva and I'm the Chaitanya?
Absolutely not. No. Remember, Advaita Vedanta is simple and direct. Don't mix it up with samskaras. The only problem is ignorance. And the only solution is knowledge. That's what Vedanta has been telling us. You don't know, we are not aware of the reality underlying our experiences, which is consciousness or existence, Brahman. We don't know it. We don't see it. That's the only problem. When knowledge comes, when we realize it, when we make the breakthrough, the same samskaras may be there or may not be there. They won't be a problem anymore. You can still deal with them. Samskaras have to be dealt with by purifying the mind. That's a different process altogether. But that's not crucial. If you put the samskaras
to sleep, what I'm asking.
If you put the samskaras to sleep, will you become enlightened? No. Can deep sleep make you enlightened? You say the conditioning of the mind is what is keeping me in bondage. Not at all. Never. Neither the mind keeps you in bondage, nor the body keeps you in bondage. Only ignorance keeps you in bondage. After becoming enlightened, the same mind will still be there, the body will be there, but you realize everything as Brahman. Only ignorance of the gold nature makes us not know what the ornament is. The form of the ornament, whether it's a necklace or it is a bangle or it is a ring, it has nothing to do with the reality, which is gold. All that you have to do is realize that it is gold. Bangle can still be a bangle, necklace can still be a necklace. By transforming a necklace into a bangle, you will not realize the truth. The truth is to be realized by knowing that it is gold. So whatever the form, whatever the samskaras, whatever is going on here, the reality has to be seen as Brahman. And that is done by an inquiry into our conscious experience. Not even believing in what the Rishi Munis have seen. Not necessary. Advaita brings us back to your conscious experience now, and step by step, Drigdrishya Viveka, Panchakosha Viveka, Avasthatraya Viveka, it is not asking you to believe it, it's trying to show you something. There's a difference between telling us and showing us. These books tell us, and then the ultimate method is to show us what the reality is. The 10th man has to be shown that he is the 10th man. You counted the 9, and then now there's the 10th man. So Advaita Vedanta is trying to do that. Start with conscious. Most important point I made in this whole science and Vedanta debate. Start with the scientific worldview, you'll end up with materialism. At least the way science stands now. You'll end up with materialism, and if you are an honest and careful scientist, you'll end up with materialism with a big question mark that we don't know enough yet. That will be the thing. Start with consciousness, start with awareness. You'll end up with at least Sankhya, if not Advaita Vedanta. You might say, no, why will I start? There are two things, object and subject. Why will I start with the subject? Why will I not start with the object? The answer is very obvious. The object appears to the subject. You first, then your samsara. You first, then your science. How does science proceed? First, it makes an assumption, it brackets out, it cancels out you, the observer, and then does science. Advaita asks, why? Why are you doing that? Why not first investigate you, the one investigator, and then you can do science after that? The point is, once you investigate the investigator, you will end up with the reality, which is existence, consciousness, bliss. Okay.
Thank you.